A United States Golf Association official stood close enough to watch every movement Wyndham Clark made on the 17th hole. The official said nothing, the ruling went Wyndham Clark's way, and within a day, the entire golf world was demanding to know what that official actually saw. That single moment at Shinnecock Hills has now grown into one of the most uncomfortable rules conversations a major champion has ever been placed in. Not a penalty, not a disqualification, but a question that will not leave him. Here is what sits underneath all of it. Wyndham Clark did not win a regular event. He did not win a signature event or a FedEx Cup playoff stop. He won the United States Open, America's national championship, the one major the USGA controls completely, from the rough height to the pin positions to every single rules decision made on the golf course. That detail matters. Because the governing body now staying silent is the same body whose officials were on that course, whose cameras were rolling, and whose rules team was watching every shot of every round. Wyndham Clark beat Sam Burns by a single shot to claim the 2026 United States Open. One stroke. He also stopped world number 1 Scottie Scheffler from completing the career Grand Slam. The trophy was in his hands and roughly $3.6 million was in his account. Then, less than 24 hours later, a working PGA Tour caddie named Brent Henley opened his account on X and posted a video with 5 words, "I think Wyndham Clark cheats here." Brent Henley is not a commentator. He is not a golf blogger. He is a working caddy on the PGA Tour, a professional who reads greens, carries bags, and lives inside the ropes of professional golf every single week. When someone like that posts something like that, the golf world does not scroll past it. And what makes this story heavier is that the Henley video was the second incident, not the first. 2 separate holes, 1 championship both caught on camera, and a governing body that has answered for neither. To understand why the golf world reacted the way it did, you have to understand the pattern that came before Shinnecock. Golf Digest framed it cleanly, writing that Wyndham Clark has also developed an unusual gift for finding himself at the center of rules controversies. Not as a perpetrator exactly, but as a recurring presence. The same publication added a line that captures the entire problem, but golf's relationship with rules is less legal than liturgical. Fans don't require a verdict to form an opinion. They require proximity, and Clark keeps showing up in the wrong room. That pattern is real and documented. At the Arnold Palmer Invitational in 2024, footage showed Wyndham Clark pressing his club into thick rough behind his ball on the 18th hole, and the optics looked like he was tamping down grass and potentially improving his lie. At the Arnold Palmer Invitational in 2025, his tee shot on the par 4 third hole landed in the fairway and returned to its own pitch mark. And television and ShotLink video reviews confirmed the ball bounced forward and spun back into that pitch mark, entitling him to free relief. There was a divot debate at Pinehurst as well. The crucial nuance is that Wyndham Clark was cleared every single time, exonerated by the letter of the law. Wyndham Clark himself acknowledged what the scrutiny had done, telling reporters he maybe now has to be a little more conscious because, in his words, you're under the microscope. He said it out loud before Shinnecock. Then came the 17th hole. During the 3rd round on June 20th, Wyndham Clark stepped onto the 17th at Shinnecock Hills, one of the most punishing finishing stretches in major championship golf. His tee shot missed badly, nearly 100 yards left, deep into the fescue rough, and it came to rest near a camera platform that was blocking his path to the green. Under the rules, that camera tower is an immovable obstruction, and Wyndham Clark was entitled to free relief. A USGA official confirmed it on the spot. To that point, everything was standard. Here is where it stopped being standard. Wyndham Clark dropped the ball once and it rolled back toward the camera stand. He dropped it again and it rolled back into the structure a second time. Under the rules, when a ball rolls back into the condition causing the problem twice, the player is allowed to place the ball by hand at the spot of the second drop. Before placing the ball, Wyndham Clark removed loose grass from around the area. The moment that footage spread, fans reacted immediately. The account Nuclear Golf posted the clip and asked directly, fans are complaining that Wyndham Clark was able to move grass before taking his drop on the 17th hole, which gave him a better lie. Do you think it was fair? The objections came quickly and bluntly. One fan wrote, Wyndham Clark hits his tee shot 100 yards left on #17 in a terrible spot, then he just intentionally drops it so it comes back and he perfectly places his ball. Basically zero disadvantage for shanking a tee shot. What a joke you are, USGA. Another wrote, Wyndham Clark going full lawn care service on that drop is egregious and the USGA should feel bad. The golf influencer Paige Spiranak responded to the situation with a short line, I'm staying out of this one lol. The counter is just as clear and it is grounded in the actual rules. Under the procedure for immovable obstructions, loose impediments may be moved anywhere on or off the golf course, and removing them does not break a rule. A USGA official monitored the entire process and allowed it. Wyndham Clark then chipped onto the green and saved par with an up and down. He did not break any rule at the United States Open despite the criticism directed at him. That incident, at least, was settled in real time on the golf course. The next one was not. Wyndham Clark lifted the United States Open trophy on the evening of June 21st. The ceremony was done, the prize money was paid, and the handshakes were over. Then, on June 22nd, Brent Henley posted his video to his personal account on X. The footage shows Wyndham Clark standing in thick United States Open fescue, rehearsing his swing in grass next to his ball, then stepping across to the other side and taking a second practice swing there. Henley narrates the moment Wyndham Clark steps directly behind his ball and pats down the grass before addressing his actual shot, questioning aloud why the move was necessary. When Wyndham Clark finally strikes the ball, Henley points out that he is standing in the same spot where he had just patted the grass down moments earlier. Henley's own words under the clip were direct. Did Wyndham Clark bend the rules here? He never touches the grass on this mysterious practice swing. I have never seen another player make this type of practice swing in my golfing days. You be the judge. This is where honesty about the evidence matters, because the most measured voices say the footage cannot settle the question. Sources do not even agree on which hole it was, with some pointing to the 9th and at least one fan referencing the 18th. Observers studying the clip have noted the swings still appear to occur near his lie rather than directly on it, and the camera angle is poor. The golf analyst Ben Coley offered the clearest read, writing that the clip is undeniably strange but inconclusive, and adding, players who abide by the rules ought to be more careful than he has been here. That tension, strange but unprovable, is the heart of the second incident. The rule at the center of all of this is Rule 8.1 of the official rules of golf. In plain terms, a player cannot improve the lie of the ball, the area of their intended stance, or the area of their intended swing. What is clearly permitted is taking a practice swing to gauge how the rough will affect the club and stepping behind the ball to feel the ground. What would cross the line is deliberately patting down the grass in the specific area where a player is about to plant his feet and deliver his swing. The two factors officials weigh when applying the rule are whether the ball moved and whether the lie was altered, and nothing in the circulating footage shows Wyndham Clark's ball moving or his lie being changed. The golf community split directly down the middle, and not only casual fans. Coaches, former tour players, and rules analysts read the same footage differently. On the defense side, one fan wrote, "He is taking a practice swing as every single golfer does." Would you want to know how much the fescue will impact your swing? People really are trying hard to discredit Wyndham. Another said simply, I've seen players make that move hundreds if not thousands of times. A third argued Wyndham Clark was checking both sides of his ball for an even lie. A routine pre-shot habit. The skeptics leaned on the pattern, with one writing that if a player is habitually breaking the rules, someone will eventually catch him. This brings the story to its real issue, the part that is not speculation. Once a round is complete and a tournament is over, the rules of golf have no formal mechanism for retroactive penalties triggered by post-event video. The competitor has signed his scorecard and the championship is closed. Even if a USGA official watched the Henley video frame by frame tonight and privately concluded a rule had been broken, there is no process, no committee, and no review board to act on it. The trophy has been presented, and the check has been signed. Golf is almost unique here. Tennis has Hawkeye. Cricket has doctor's reviews available during play. Football carries post-match retrospective bans for conduct captured on camera. Golf, the sport that prides itself most on personal integrity and self-policing, has no system for what happens when damaging video appears after competition closes. In fairness to the USGA, that silence may be due process rather than a cover-up, because there is genuinely no path for the body to reopen a closed championship. There is also a human layer that explains why Wyndham Clark specifically draws this volume of scrutiny. Golf Digest framed him as the anti-hero the sport currently lacks, noting that many of the week-to-week villains left for the rival circuit, leaving the antagonist role empty. Wyndham Clark fills it. The off-course record is part of that. At the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, he snapped his driver on a club throw reckless enough to draw a formal reprimand. At last year's United States Open at Oakmont, he damaged a locker after missing the cut, which led to a suspension and a requirement that he pay for the damage, make a charitable contribution, complete anger management, and publicly apologize. The counterweight is just as documented. The crowd at Shinnecock was harsh, with fans yelling "don't choke" before his shots and cheering poor ones, and hecklers were removed by police during his final round. Paige Spiranak, Scottie Scheffler, and Keegan Bradley all said the treatment went too far. Spiranak wrote, "The hate for Wyndham Clark doesn't make sense to me," and added, "I just feel that it's been taken too far at this point." Wyndham Clark addressed it himself after the win, saying the crowd was tough today. I mean, man, New Yorkers, they are tough people. He also acknowledged some of it's self-deserved. I kind of brought it on myself, so I get that too. Beyond all of it sits the heavier context that complicates any simple read of him, the death of his mother, and the mental health struggles he has discussed openly in a sport that does not always invite that frankness. So what does the golf world actually deserve from the USGA right now? Not a conviction, not a title stripped on social media pressure. The reasonable ask is a formal, on-record explanation of what the Rules Committee reviewed, when it reviewed it, and what conclusion it reached on both the 17th hole footage and the Brent Henley video. The cloud over this trophy exists because of process, not proof. Talent does not close a rules question, and winning does not erase footage and a pattern. But neither does suspicion equal guilt when officials cleared every instance and no rule violation has been established. That leaves 3 questions worth your verdict. Did either moment at Shinnecock Hills cross the line? Should major championships have a formal post-tournament review process? And does Wyndham Clark's second United States Open title sit cleanly in the record books? Or does it carry an asterisk that only a proper investigation could remove?